we were 22 participants from all over India, and 2 weeks I have spent at the Tata Institute of Social Science, Bombay, and the later part of 1 week program that is going to be held in the University of Pennsylvania, USA. Due to this corona situation, that program is postponed. And the theme is how we can develop our higher education institution. So several has been their insight about of the higher education in India, and we all are teachers. Has been associated with the undergraduate program, postgraduate program, research and all.
Professor Bani, I'm sorry. Please make it full screen. Actually,
Okay.
Please make the presentation full screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Perfect.
So in India's higher education sector has supplied some of the world best talent that we all are aware about of it. US IT industry is basically dominated by Indians only. The CEOs of some biggest Fortune 500 companies, that is Microsoft, Google, MasterCard, and Adobe, are the product of the Indian higher education system. The landscape has also expanded over the past decade from universities that has been 430 around in 2009 to now it is already into in 17, 18, and the colleges is also increased up to 39,000. So student enrollment that has been 36 million is the third largest in the world next to China and United States. Besides, India is already in the middle of the demographic dividend with the surge of population, which is estimated to become the world largest by 2030. India is expected to account for about 20% of the total young talent pool supplied by the non-Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development of, that is OECD, that is G20 country. So this is the present scenario of Indian higher education. And presently, we all are facing several issues. And even the government of India is also thinking that how we can develop our higher education system. And for that purpose, new education policy draft has been already finalized. And when we were in the program, in that program, several resource persons came from those who were involved in the development of that new higher education policy. So on the basis of that, several challenges that has been I have mentioned, and these challenges is also I have taken from the one survey was conducted by the Deloitte in the 2019. They have been conducted around 600 deans of the various education institutions, alumni associations, and more than 3,000 students in the country. In the result of that survey, they have been identified the key challenges. That is, the first one is the growing divergence between the curricula and market demand. So that is I can say, this is the biggest challenges we are facing in our country. Because yesterday, even we were discussing with Soral sir and Luhar sir and Nishikantji, the curricula and market demand. Even in where we are teaching in the accounting and so many subjects, whether it is really those we are teaching, whether it is been applicable into the market, even after getting the master's degree in the commerce or in accounting, students are not able to write the accounts after getting the degree. He said, I have only theory knowledge. So there is a lack between the industry interaction, practical exposure, not in accounting, in all the disciplines, even in engineering and all other degrees. So there is a vast gap between the market, the curricula and what market expect. Even we are talking with the industry people, their response is that we are not able to get the good candidates, those we are in need. So this is the biggest challenge. And the second challenge is the quality and quantity and quality of the research. Presently in India, so many research work is going on, so many research journals are there. Every day, thousands of paper are publishing. And even so many conferences, webinar, research work, major research work are going on. And PhD is also done. But the question is, what is the real output of that research? Whatever may be findings done by that researchers, whether it has been used for the policy making, for the development of any policy documents, for the use of any industry, normally we can say no, because that is only academic research. So that thing should be changed. Okay, whatever maybe we are doing, that should be as per the demand of the industry, and whatever may be output come, that should be useful for the industry. And the another important issue is the shortage of the faculty, that is skilled faculty. At presently, so many teachers are there, but even our top institutions in the India, from like IITs, IIMs, IISc, they are not getting the faculties as per their requirement. And lack of the funding, this is one of the important big challenge. That is even being a MHRD, they are not able to increase the funding. So state universities and other universities, basically state universities are facing this problem. Some central universities are very good in that way. This is the result of the survey conducted by the Deloitte Dean survey. So as per that result, they find out from the result, whatever may be responded included. And from that result, so 80% people are believing that lack of the faculty. 78% they are believing that employment of the students is also a big challenge. 63% they are believing that the absence of the fresh curriculum, that is a benchmark with the global standard. 43% they are believing that lack of the global perspective. 34% that is lack of quality job, and 27% that is increasing the fee, and 10% is of other. So these are the list of the problem that has been faced by the higher education institutions. Another one is that is faculty vacancies that has been given, I have given by graphical way. So suppose if we will take the examples of that is a green, that is shows the field post, and that has been orange color shows that the vacant position. So in central universities, we see the 5,600 is the vacant position. IIT 2,800 faculty position is vacant. NIT 3,200. IIT, that is centrally funded IIT, that is 135. And IIT public private, that is 242. So that data is of MHRD data, and that was presented into the Lok Sabha of India. So we can see that there is a huge gap between the requirement in the faculty and that has been filled up post. So that has been now structural and learning reforms needed to become truly best in the class. So looking to this challenge, now which types of the changes that has been required? So first one is need to create a broader education ecosystem. So presently in Indian education systems, they are facing so many issues. There is no, we can say, comfortable environment, so many regulatory authorities. And for that purpose, there is a need to provide that ecosystem so they can grow. And even presently, government has also allowed to enter the foreign universities in the India. So that will be one good sign, but simultaneously those existing state universities, central universities and private universities, they will also face the problem. And another one is that is the strike a balance between the learning and job readiness. So this is the big need of the present day. And that has been curricula and whatever may be demand of the industry that should be matched. So we can produce a graduate, postgraduate according to the requirement of the industry and promote the interdisciplinary learning. So this is the one of the important topic. When we were in that LEAP program, one of the professor that has been, he has been vast experience in the various countries of the world. As per his view, presently we are limiting to the students. So suppose being a student of commerce, wants to learn psychology, wants to learn mathematics, wants to learn music, that facility should be allowed, and that has been allowed in the, we can say, top 100 universities of the world. And he has also worked at that university. That was a Professor Ramarao. So he told in US, one of the professor of the maths with music, he offering that course, maths with music. And that is the very much popular into the USA as well as the world. So such types of the interdisciplinary learning is essential. And another one is expand online education. So this COVID situation has provided that best opportunity how to teach online. So this is a good sign, and in entire India, so many educational institution, association, teachers, they are providing online education, and so that is a good way. And now improve the funding and cut the cost. So that has been also very good requirement. And on the basis of that, UGC has taken the several initiatives. And in the new education policy, they have also going to implement such things. So I think that will be provide a better insight for the higher education, and we can go for the quality education. So that is, UGC is also presently framing the learning outcome based curriculum. So Professor Ramarao has mentioned, say, okay, there is no need to develop a curriculum, but we should identify, okay, after the graduation, what are our expectations that should be achieved. On the basis of that, curriculum should be developed. And second one is, that is ICT based learning tools, that is MOOCs, SWAYAM platforms. They are offering the variety of the courses. So that is also initiatives taken by the UGC. And university industry linkage, even presently we are MBA program. So AICT has also taken initiatives to make the linkage between the industry and provide the internships to the students. That is called as they have developed one called as Intersala. So from that, they are offering a variety of the internships to the students. Then examination and evaluation reforms. So nowadays, there is a problem with the credit transfer. So UGC is in the planning to transfer the credit. Suppose you have studied in one college, some courses you have done. So that credit will be available on that credit bank, and you want to move anywhere in the India. So that credit, not in India, that should be allowed internationally. So this is I hope it is a very good beginning and big thoughts by the UGC. And another one is on the demand examination. Okay, whenever students want to take exam, they can conduct the exam online. So that is also one of the good initiative. And several schemes that has been developed by the faculty, UGC, that is faculty development. They are providing the funding, even that is LEAP is one of that part, faculty development. And assessment and accreditation, that is NAAC and National Board of Accreditation, that is for engineering, management, and computer education institutions. And quality of the research, they are also providing the funding, and they are going to increase that things. And also they have developed one council, that is Research and Innovation Council. So government is also taking initiative, that is startups, stand-ups, new idea, innovations. And for that purpose, they are also funding to the teachers, students. These are the another initiative. And regulatory framework. And presently, so many like UGC, AICTE, MCI, and Pharmacy Council, and so many other types of the regulatory agencies are there. So they are contradictory, some fighting each other. So government has also planned to put all this regulatory under one banner, that is Higher Education Council of India. Under that, they will work. So that will also provide a very smooth functioning of the. So these are the various initiatives that has been taken by the UGC. So I'm not going to take much more time. So, and finally, I conclude that Indian higher education sector is at the crossroads. Students want skill that can help them thrive in the market, and employment desire talent that can match and evolve based on the market demand. So, however, the gap between the talent demand and supply, that is also persist. And this is This is primarily because educational institutions continue to operate in silos and there is no formal ecosystem in which employers can regularly engage with students as well as the faculty.
That you will take our voice to the UGC level, that there will be the separate now platform in the NetSet for the accountancy students, teachers, and the candidates, for which we are highly obliged, sir. And we are also happy that our Indian Accounting Journal, okay, so it will be very soon under the Scoopers and also in the UGC listed journal and the CARE listed journal. Thank you, sir.
Lohar Sahab, I will be also up to 10 minutes and then we'll leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your
Yes, sir.
presence
Yes, sir.
were
Yes,
very
sir.
much
Yeah.
important, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Taylor, sir, please start now.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I would like to congratulate the organizer team for making such a nice event in this COVID situation where we all are suffering a lot of problems. And my sincere thanks for selecting me, especially to Arvind sir, Nishikant ji, Kuldeep ji, for selecting me out of the entire academia, for selecting as a resource person of robotic process automation on the basis of my work, which I'm working since last 7 years in robotics. My friends, this is a very good and hot topic on which the introductory part has already been explained by Soral sir, Sanjay Bhayari sir, but I'm telling you only the introduction of the robotic accounting and robotic process automation. It is a vibrant topic for which we insist ourselves to understand first. So that is very important for explaining what robotic process automation will do in our academia or in our continuation of the consistency relating to the performance. So that is basically relating that in the present modern era, everywhere is information technology. We are associated with information technology with the help of the ICT tools. The scenario of commerce has already been changed and the scenario of aspects relating to buying or selling of goods or delivering of services has totally changed. That now the commerce era has totally been changed and it comes under the commodology word. Commodology is a new informative word which is relating to commerce and information technology. In present era, we are not supposed to perform any task without the use of ICT. Whether we are going to buy a ticket online, whether we are going to read out the material, whether we are going to buy a single product or we want to sell. So that commodology word is very important, which includes commerce and information technology with the content of future aspects. Now we need to understand first what is robotic or process automation is. So robotic process automation starts with the concept of WWW. That W relates what happened. Second W consists of why did it happen? And third W relates with when will it happen. See, we know the thing that robots are already implemented by us, but unfortunately we don't know that whether we are accepting it or not. In my many lectures, majority of people are not accepting the robots. They say if robot will join our business in commerce, then there are lot of lapses, lot of turnover of our employees. It is not so. So in this case, then the final conclusion we can draw that how can we make it happen, which is more important to learn whether robots will be implementing the employee or not, and how that will be re-influence of the technology. Friends, I would like to tell you that what is robotic process automation. See, robotic process automation is not a typical thing in our commerce and management. It is a software which was developed by the experts with the help of the IT experts, and whatever we want to, we can implement as per the process of execute our business processes for implementation and for development of the business concerns. It is a software robot which we need to, it's not basically the content or it's not basically a device which will operate, but in our commerce and management, that robotic process automation will help us in the way of the software. In this robotic process automation, there are less human activities, less human interaction. So there are less chances of the errors. There are some features of robotic process automations which we need to understand first while we are processing further about the understanding of robotic process automation. See, there are basically these processes, if we applied in our business and commerce, these are user friendly, the work can be prioritized, the future is more secured, it is based on the programming, which is based on the computer ICT programs by experts, data analytics are there, security and we can source control, we can do it, rule-based handling, we can do it. There are auction and intelligence we are implementing. It is a combination of AI and EI, artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence. We are doing in our regular life. Then we have basically I would like to share a tour to you all that where we can apply the way and how can we implement. There's a video for you. So just wait for that, and I'm going to continue, right? Just a minute. Yes, please watch it because it is very important for you all. So, hello, am I connected?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Taylor
So
sir.
there are some benefits. Yes, there are some benefits which we are having for applying the RPA in our business organization. First of all, it improves the employee morale, which is more important. People are so fed up right now performing the job. They can learn many things in developing for their skills at the job place. They can increase the productivity. It may be the more reliable by adopting the RPA because the robots are time-based. Whatever software is there, there's time-based and errorless. Consistency is there when we are thinking about it, that the consistency means a lot, and it is like the regular workflow, which is more important for the businessman, performing scenario. 62 or 70 seats are available, but within a meantime, we find out that seats may full. And that's the reason that the person is sitting on the screen and the person is doing, but there is no person, there is a software which is working for us. So the technical barriers are very less we need to apply, and the accuracy can be drawn in a very positive manner. Then we have next content that is relating to the why RPA is required. It is very important for job opportunities. One more important thing is that we have a myth in India, especially why I'm talking about, because there are a number of literate people are here. Some might want to adopt the technology, but some are very scared about it.
Taylor sir, your voice is not audible. Now we have lost your screen as well. Taylor sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think there's a technical issue which you are having.
I
Okay.
think in between आपका थोड़ा ये connectivity क्या रहेगा due to that. Again आप screen पे
Yes.
लेके आइए और speaker yes. Now it's perfect.
Yes. Okay, fine.
Full
So,
screen कर दीजिए
the
sir
job
please.
opportunities are very. Okay, just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
Done.
Full screen.
It's done
Thank
sir.
you.
It's
Fine.
done.
So the job opportunities, fine. Job opportunities are more with implementing and using RPA because the employees are more technical advanced. Business security can be more updated with the help of the various software programs through cloud even. Modern consumer behavior we need to know. Earlier we are totally dependent on the traditional environment of the consumer. In present scenario, the consumer buying behavior is already being changed. We all are suffering. We all are sitting in our home and we are buying everything on through Amazon, Flipkart. We think that we want food. Right now, Food Panda, Swiggy, Zomato are there. So that is basically are helping for us, and in a minimum time we can utilize whatever we want to. If that is also a techno savvy implementation of techniques is very important with it. Time effective is also important. The time requires less. Earlier we don't want to go and we don't want to spend our more time in a queue. Right now RPA is applying. Basically it is also applicable in the some government department in Telangana. Government also applying the RPA. They started model preparation for that to implement and identifying the people. Consumer satisfaction is also important. If you go without RPA, you go traditionally, you can have some designs, some products. But if you apply RPA, you can sit at your home and you can scroll all over the world, whatever you want to buy, the products are available, n number of ranges are there. So that is also important for us. And it is also for the goodwill and growth. If a person is a new entrepreneur, he wants to start some business, with the help of that RPA, he can start his own business wherever he want to. He can circulate it among India and abroad. That is important for that. Then we have some opportunities. These are very important, basically opportunity, employment creation. I told you earlier that employment is very important because RPA is a combination of information technology. It is not related only that a person who don't know anything cannot implement RPA, but it is relating with the technological advancement and all the relating to the ideas and innovation which may implement the business. Hence, it is also a tool of employment creation. New product development we can do with the help of the RPA. Brand valuation is very important. Right now, we know that we are authentic on the basis of the brand which are available on Amazon or Flipkart. Flipkart is also giving some guarantee on some product. That is a brand valuation. That if it's a brand there, then the product is genuine and we are supposed to buy it. It is an automated mechanism. Why? Because of no interference of human being over there. Job opportunities, I have already explained. Perfection of work is there. We might make some mistake, but in robotic process automation, whatever software we are preparing, it doesn't do mistake. Why? Because of we are the creator of that software, and if we know that what are the bottlenecks, what are the problem we are having with that software, we already having the removal part of it, and simultaneously the perfection of work automatically comes. Then we have expert advisory. It is very important. In present scenario, we all are digitalized. More than 70% in India, though I'm talking about the literate people, they are using the digital payment system. They are using the ICT for their daily routine work. But for that, they must understand that what are the important advisory of ICT. I believe majority of us will agree to buy any electronic product or agree to buy to use any electronic gadget. But we don't know that what are the booklet which they are offering us, we are not supposed to read. That is the main problem with RPA. Then these are basically the robotic process automation changes and challenges and solutions we are having. This is a banking scenario I have taken for you for your understanding that how the robotic process automation will help us. See, In banking scenario, we are having a CIBIL. CIBIL shows your credit score available in the market. Whether your credit score is good or not, we can identify, and there's a robot which will tell you that the person or XYZ person is capable to pay the loan or not. That robotic process automation is also telling you that what are the NPA of the bank, whether the person is liable to pay or not. So this will help you in credit understanding. What is the credit understanding? Whether on the basis of the data available for that, credit assessment they are doing, there is no manual calculation about it, and then the fraud detection they can do. If a single person has taken any loan from other bank and they are coming from a other option available for loan, it might immediately pop up with a link in the bank that the person is having a less CIBIL. Similarly, we are moving on how they are doing. See, there are some steps we are having for that. Software programming will help us in robotic process automation. According as per the business organization, they can develop the software. It is available with the big data. Right now, the present time shows the research in accounting field. That accounting field requires robotic auto process automation, robotic accounting, big data, and these big data are working for robotic basically. That will tell you that what are the choices of us. I'm giving you a little bit example. If you scroll YouTube or you like 2 or 3 channels or 2 or 3 videos, automatically the YouTube will tell you that these you may like. That is basically the big data. Out of your scrolling, they are helping you to evaluate and to interest in you. Social media we are having. In social media, whatever we are liking or whatever we are disliking, they have the preference of it. And accordingly, we have some mails for buying any product or evaluation or awareness for that in our mailbox. We haven't applied for it. But how they know? That is basically the big data and robotic they are doing. Smart sensors are here. I could not able to play some videos over here, but I will share the link after that you can see there are a number of sensors. We have variety of sensors which are available for you to interact. Some hotels are also there. They are providing us some robot on sensor base. When you enter in any hotel room, there is only sensor which is available for you. You have your keys, and if the time limit is there, automatically the door locks. So that automation is also important for the robotic process automation. Then advanced human computer devices. Guys, with the help of emotional intelligence, there are n number of things are created in our business and commerce as well. And we have RFID. There's a present example. We are having a digital toll payments, digital toll plaza. You don't need to stop on a particular basically toll plaza. We have the IDs over there. There's a tag over there. Automatically, amount will be deducted out of the bank account. So these are basically the robotic process automation I'm telling you. So it is really, robots are doing operation in hospitals. It is true. Robots are taking classes in universities. And I believe we all are teachers in this group, majority of that. If we are not updated, and if we will not update it after some time what happens, some robot will take in place, and might be the dual classroom system will be developed in our universities or a classroom, where robot will tell you, or maybe the robot will stand at the front of you, whatever we are.
Yes, sir. Voice is not coming. Hello, Taylor sir.
Again, there is some technical difficulties at his place.
Okay.
He'll be joining soon.
Taylor sir, can you hear us? Hello.
Yes. I'm sorry again and again. There's a problem of the internet, sir. I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
So
please continue.
Similarly, we are having robots are killing children. See, it is very surprising in India, but it is practically in the world that robots at our children, because both husband and wife are working. At that time, they might be make face either scratches or they may take some maze at the home. So there are, for that safety of the children, some robots are already made by the companies who will take care of their children at the home. And similarly for old age people, they don't know that whether some attendant or are available will be there with them or not. But with the help of the robotic, they may arrange some person who will take care of it. Robots are helping in the kitchen. It's very important for the women who are working, guys. Robots are variety of robots are there which are helping them into the kitchen. N number of good dishes are available with them. So these help us in practical life as well. And robots are providing technical training too. In the technical institution, in the universities, robots are creating their part. Similarly, we move on some hotel industry. That these are the videos in the hotel industry that basically robots are helping with them from reception to living in their room, whatever they demand they are serving with the restaurant, and whatever their likes and dislikes, they are giving their ways. Then we have in the medical sector, in present time, everybody knows that COVID-19 is a big situation where the infection portion is more. China has already implemented some robots for vacuumate and for medical purpose. Similarly, they are applying in the laboratories, in consultation also, in surgery also they are applying, and in their patient care are also they are using. There are some pictures I have taken for the caring of it, and it is presently working. So we need to take care of that whether we are applying or not, or how it is connecting with us. The second content which I need to explain with everybody that we are in the process of robotic process. We are using robotic process automation, but we don't know actually. There are some content which I have taken for you that if we want to know the credit score, there is robot is working for us, or Google Assistant is helping to you. Whatever you want to just speak out and Google will help you. That is a robot process. Banking customer care, when you call any banking customer care, even ICICI is very good in which is applying the robotic process automation in their field. For your railway inquiry, you are doing there is a robot for you. For flight ticketing, if you are doing, there is a robot which are giving you or a pop-up that may I help you. That is a robot. If ticket booking you are going on IRCTC or any other business thing, then if you are applying Google surfing, whatever you want to serve, you just write a word or a Google, and there's n number of links are there as per your choice. And out of the screen, the robots are working for us. For online shopping, you may like or dislike any product according to our choice or our preference. Automatically, it shows a list that works that we are having. For the digital payment, it's a 3-party payments or 4-party payments we are having for the encryption and for the security purpose. So between 1 or 2 parties, there is a robot which are working for us. Digital toll plazas I have already explained earlier, and now very important, entry of any mall, airports and metro station. It is a very vibrant topic in the present time. The government is also planning to secure their malls, airports and metro station by implementing robotic process automation. How they are doing? We all are using our mobile phone and we are not aware so. We are having our finger expression, we are having our facial expression on the YouTube, on Facebook as well, and we are tagging the friends. Guys, you don't know, somebody or there are a number of people or companies are working on face recognition. When we tag anybody, it shows the name, and n number of photos if you find out on Facebook, they are showing that whether that person, please identify the person, and we are just clicking because we are not aware about the threats of that tagging. So on the basis of that tagging, they are having their whole platform by big data, and they will basically identify the person according to their requirement. So if there is any threat or they find out any person who is not genuine or he is doing anything, through facial expression, they can catch a person and the thing can be melted off. Similarly, I would like to give one more thing based on the basis of banking scenario, that the banking scenario right now we all are in tension to secure our money. We are not secure at our home. Might be you're having your credit card or debit card in your pocket, and after some time you got a message that rupees 25,000 or 50,000 has been withdrawn from your account, then we are surprised. Who is doing and who is taking care of? So there are some that is positive or negative where robotic process automation will giving us employment for threats or cyber experts as well as and cyber thieves as well as. So that thing is also implement, and how we protect all these things, that is also an issue. One example I would like to give, after some time, maybe 1 year it will take, that in all the ATMs, emotional intelligence will be emerged. With the help of EI, if you insert your card and somebody will hike you and somebody will demand you money by force, automatically the amount will be seized and there will be a message in your account that even police station and the branch of the bank that somebody or something is there, something problem is there, and they will send some security over there. So how they do in the robotics? See, it is based on the access of our internet. We are using our internet. We are using our internet on mobile phone as well right now, but without the precaution, without the proper knowledge of the information system and other things. Face recognition we are doing. So on the basis of face recognition, they are identifying and what are the choices of us with the content relating to other robotics. Similarly, regular visit of a place. Yes, I would like to one more example to you all. Suppose yesterday night we had a party with our friends and we haven't informed to our family. Okay, in morning when we're sitting on a dining table and we are having our breakfast, some pop-up came and says, okay, please rate the place yesterday you visited, what was the bar or whatever. That is also a privacy issue with us. Who will? We haven't tell us. Our 3 or 4 friends knows about that we had a party yesterday. But that time, Google knows everything. He is telling to all of the person and he is just reviewing with us, please rate, please review that place, whether it is all right or not. So these are basically the way by which we itself are doing on the development of it. And at the time when we suffer any problem, we say that it's a technical part which we are not aware about of, which is totally wrong. Then we are having choices at the time of shopping. On the basis of these things, automatically they send us the details and accordingly they find out with the robotics. Our likes on the post on Facebook, Insta and YouTube, these are the major issues which we are having when they are applying for that. We need to taking care of. Next we are having our navigation. See, we have a 2 type of memory. The first memory we are having whatever the set route we are having. So if we are leaving our home and we are going to our office, there's a path which is fixed and that path is automatically fixed on our mind. So on the basis of when the path is moving on with a mobile phone, automatically it distracts us. Whether we are moving on right way or not way, Google Map is also one of a good example of using robotic process automation in our practical life through navigation. Then we are having our feedback to various services. We visit any hotel, we find out a mail from there and then we do our feedback. On that feedback, they'll get a data and on the basis of data, they do robotic process automation for the other customers and for your choices. Then we have future of RPA, which is very important. See, RPAs will be applied in everywhere. Those who will apply in a meantime, they will be the future runners, and after some time they will find out that whether the thing will be applied or not after some training or then it will be applied all business houses, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is educational, whether it is insurance sector, banking sector, transportation, military, everywhere. It is also applied in audit and accounting. When we discuss about audit and accounting, there is a problem. And what is the role of the accountant? There are a number of jobs will be left down after implementing robotics. But no, their jobs will be shifted from accounting to auditing, and it will be very important for them to evaluate for the international level. Then we are having some restaurants. There are some robots are also serving it. The foods and good deliveries are there. You can track your product if you are buying through Amazon or Flipkart. You can having a track on it. India Speed Post is also giving you a track ID, user track. You find out where the product is available now. Then we have security. I told you earlier, Telangana government has also started for their railway station for the robotic process automation through face recognition. Then law enforcement, government has also started to implement robotic process automation for safety of their members. Similarly, military and other security services are also doing for the robotic process automation. And very important thing, teaching. Some universities have started robotic classes. Some universities have started dual classroom system where two people will share their views. Similarly, for training of employee, it is also important thing. For robotic process automation, n number of good companies, I'm talking about IBM, Wipro, Infosys, they are having some training centers. So primary training sessions are taken care by some robots. And in transportation also, some mechanical things are also there for having all these type of process in their business scenario. There are some safety tips we are having for the robotic process automation when we are going to implement it. First of all, we need to take advice with an expert. And the second I would like to say, away from fraud. There are a number of frauds they're having. So we need to take care of it, that what are the disadvantages and loopholes are there. And the other people are having and getting all these things through these information. Awareness about the technology, it is very important. That technology gives us the awareness. This slide I have prepared for you only for awareness. It is just introductory part. The detailed part I'm not covering because majority of us are unaware about the robotic process automation and how it will be applied for. Then security tips is very important. It's my advice. When we are going to buy any product, any electronic device, please take care of. I would like to give one example which was held in in a company. A product which we are using are some LEDs. We are having always power off mode. But there are some sensors are there. They are recording all the thing, and the thief can have more information about it. So these are basically, this was a presentation which I made on robotic process automation. I apologize for unplaying some videos which I'm having for you. So and at the end, I would like to give thanks to the organizer who given me a chance to present that vibrant topic on it, and thank you for that. Nishikant ji.
Yeah.